Yo, what's going on? I just decided to hop on here for no particular reason, really. Um, but yeah, just driving at the moment. Well, now I'm driving. We on our way to, um, we're on our way to Laredo. I'm about 109 miles away from there. So yeah, just heading to Laredo, going there to go pick up a load. So head there to pick up a load of, it just says recreational vehicles or recreational materials. So I guess I'm picking up like the last time I picked up something that said recreational vehicles or materials, it was golf carts. So maybe that's what I'm going to go pick up, but I highlight that I'm picking up golf carts on a flatbed trailer. So it could just be some kind of parts or whatever. But yeah, head to Laredo to go do that. How y'all doing this morning? How y'all doing? It is a beautiful day here in Texas. Like I said, I'm about 108 miles from Laredo. How y'all doing and what y'all doing this morning? Um, Also, while I'm on here, of course, um, I'll throw out the shameless plug of now, like on YouTube, when I go live, I can receive like gifts and stuff like that. So if you want to send gifts through the live, you can. You like just go on my link. I mean my channel, and you can send gifts and stuff like that. That helps out the channel. So support is appreciated. Either way it goes, I appreciate anybody for tuning in. Period. But yeah, I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. I'm doing better than I was, for sure. I could say about a month or so ago. Um, as y'all know, if y'all watch the channel, at one point my truck was down. So at one point, I was almost up out of here. It was almost done for me. Not necessarily my trucking career, but as an owner operator, my trucking career was about to be over with. But just thanks to the YouTube community, trucker community, in general, I was able to get back on my feet. So forever grateful for that. I will always be grateful for that. But yeah, that's kind of the mission for today, guys. I'm just headed to pick up recreational vehicle slash materials out of Laredo. That load is going to be going to Lake Villa, Illinois. From there, I'm trying to find something going to just south. So I'm going south. Oh yeah, Mr. Nash. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Definitely, this year is going to be a better year. It's already starting off better. Um, Last year wasn't a terrible year, but it could have went better. I mean, I guess we could say that about every year, right? But definitely, I'm planning good things and big things for this year. Um, I have been doing great on my Facebook page, so if y'all want to go follow that, you can. It's Love Life Trucking. That's my Facebook page. On there, I do giveaways and stuff. So I do giveaways on my Love Life Trucking Facebook page. That's the only page that I do my giveaways on, but you have to follow the page in order to be eligible for the giveaway. Anyways, so do I enjoy flatbed more? I do. I actually hated flatbed at first. I got curious enough about it and decided to give it a try when I was at JB Hunt. But and I know JB Hunt does a little bit of flatbed, but they didn't have nothing for my area being out of Pensacola, Florida. So I had decided, well, let me go try this flatbed thing out. So I had gave up my SFI truck that I had. I had a 2022 Freightliner. Gave up my truck, turned it back into SFI and everything, and went over to Boyd Brothers in Birmingham, Alabama to do flatbed. And flatbed was good. Well, flatbed has been good. It has its ups and downs, but I enjoy it some days. Of course, nobody's a fan of tarping, but hey, if the load says tarp it, I'm a tarp it. I'm not gonna cut corners with that, but you know, and I don't necessarily avoid tarping, but if the pay is good and it's worth the effort, I don't mind. I just hate tarping something that's really complicated, you know. But no, I do enjoy flatbed more than I did van. Although flatbed, like I said, has its challenges. There's so many pieces you need to put a load together. You have to make sure everything's done right because one mistake can get you or someone else, hurt out here, or one mistake can end your career because a load can shift, and you might as well just put your CDL on the dashboard and start calling you an Uber to the house because your career over with. So it can be dangerous, but it's rewarding. The money is better consistently, but right now flatbed is slow. So I will say that. Hey, what's up? What's up? Yeah, it's going good, everybody. It's going good, man. I just decided to jump on, just talk some trash. But like I said, um, y'all can, if y'all want to, is another way to support the channel. And I appreciate the support, the likes, the comments. Um, is to send gifts. So if you want to do that, you should see that somewhere on my page, or maybe if it's even on this live, where it gives you the option to send gifts. If you just want to, I don't think it costs very much, maybe $1. Anyways, so wait, so where you, what lease purchase company you with making 90%? That sounds like a pretty good deal. Like, but what are they having you pay for in order for you to be getting that 90%? Because usually there's a trade-off, and definitely, not hating or anything like that. If you're making 90% lease purchase, that's some awesome sounding pay. But usually when it's that high, there's a small trade-off. Like usually they have you pay for like an insurance or something that they normally wouldn't have you pay for. But that's a pretty good trade-off. Said it's E7 Logistics. Hmm, that sounds pretty good. What kind of terms you got on there? What kind of terms you got on your lease? What's your if you don't mind sharing it, you don't have to if you don't want to, but what are your terms on your lease? Like what's your payment? How long your lease is. But it sounds pretty good though. But yeah, y'all, that was another reason I got on here too. So as y'all saw the type of the video, the title of the video, I was just saying to like pick your best company, right? So what I posted by that is, uh, what I meant by that post is that. So tell me, guys, what would be your top like three companies? Like for flatbed, what would be your top three for dry van? What would be your top three for reefer? Or, tanker, and, of course the list could go on and on. But what would be your top three companies, I guess, within a certain specialization or whatever? Um, and the reason I'm saying that is because I have some friends of mine that are looking for some companies, and they wanted some recommendations, but they're not on YouTube like that. So they did ask me to ask you guys what you think would be the top three companies of van, flatbed, reefer, tanker, I mean, car hauling, heavy hauling, whatever it is, you guys got some expertise on, to help a friend help a friend. But yeah, hmm. So they got Nash, they got mad at you for, I guess, what, the way you tarped the load or something? Is that what you're saying they got mad at you about? Um, as far as I don't know if I want to say a comparison between Boyd Brothers and Mercer. Um, they have different types of freight, and they have, each has their bulk in that type of freight. Like for example, Boyd Brothers, they have a lot of lumber, which of course, you have to tarp lumber, so you'll do a lot of tarping. So Boyd has a lot of freight when it comes to lumber, tubing. So they do a lot of freight out of EMJ, out of Schaumburg, Illinois. You can actually sleep there overnight if you're picking up a load there, so that's always good. They have that one terminal in Birmingham, and I think another one in Clayton, Alabama. Um, let's see, but they were just bought out by a company called TFI, so a lot of things have changed at Boyd since I left there. Um, other than that, Mercer definitely has a bigger variety of freight. You can do lumber with Mercer if you want to, but they have much better freight to pick from than lumber. Of course, we all know lumber is usually always heavy. You're usually 44, 45,000 pounds maxed out, full trailer load. Of course, you got to tarp that. But Mercer has so much variety of freight. There's some freight that I've been doing here at Mercer, and I just celebrated my year of doing flatbed on January 4th. It's been officially a year that I've been doing flatbed now. And Mercer has such a variety of freight, everything from spools of cable wire that you don't have to chain down, of course. They have coils, they have like fire hydrants, metal valves. They do a lot of forklifts, John Deere tractors. They do boats. I was actually supposed to be picking up a boatload after this load that I'm headed to pick up in Laredo, so I'm waiting on confirmation from my coordinator. But so they have different varieties of freight, but Boyd has more. I mean, no, sorry, Mercer has more freight. I guess to put a simple answer to the question. But yeah, what would be your top three companies for each division? Yeah, that's what I'm. Yeah, for each division, I said specialization at first, but yeah, top three for each division, each category, each type of haul or whatever. But yeah, yeah, Sean, I'm gonna have to go with Mercer too. Like Landstar is probably their biggest competition, of course, because and then I know there's like Bennett Group and other type of owner operator only companies. Um, but I have enjoyed my time here at Mercer. It's definitely, Mercer's biggest selling point, of course, is that you get paid every other day. That's their biggest selling point. That's what they built their reputation off of, is that you deliver a load that morning, you'll get paid around that nighttime. So it's definitely the for those of you who want it paid like that, that's definitely the standing out feature that they have over Landstar, is that they pay every day. Well, they pay after each load, but they also do your deductions daily as well. So, you just factor that in. But oh, they put it in the mud. That's I hate when that happens. Like sometimes they'll even load you out here in the rain doing flatbed, and that's what'll piss you off the most. With flatbed, they'll sit there and they'll load you in the rain. So the product's already sitting out there and it's raining. Then they put the load on your trailer while it's raining. Then they're going to tell you you have to tarp that load, even though that load already got soaked from the rain. Why am I now tarping it? To then deliver it somewhere for them to take it off your truck and sit it outside somewhere. It's not like it's being protected from the weather or the elements. So you loaded me in the rain, I have to tarp it in the rain, and then only for me to get there, and they're going to sit it out in the mud in the rain anyway. That has always been a mystery to me. why some shippers and receivers make you do that, but I don't know, man. Rules is rules, and that's how they get down, I guess. But yeah. So if I had to pick, right, and I'm no expert, I'm no um, you know, professor of trucker knowledge or anything like that. But if my opinion mean anything, if I had to pick a top three companies for, let's say Reefer, we'll start with Reefer, and I don't think I even know three Reefer companies. Jesus, I would have to go. The top Reefer company I would pick probably would be Hirschbach. Hirschbach would probably be my top pick. They have a lot of. I've worked at Hirschbach before. I was a trainer there. I worked there for about 7 months. Um, Hirschbach has a lot of upsides to them. The only downside really to Hirschbach, well, there's two small downsides to Hirschbach. One is that um, Of course, you cannot. No, you can lease there. They have a lease program, but you cannot pick your own load. They said that you are non-forced dispatch, but I promise you, you are forced dispatched because you're either going to pick the load that your fleet manager sends to you, or you're probably not going to end up with a load. And you don't have to take it; you'll just end up with nothing. So, in in that same, you know, in that same token, you are really being forced dispatched. The only other thing I would say about Hirschbach is that their lease terms are really high. Their payments can be high. Most of their trucks do have a balloon payment at the end. Um, their leases can take anywhere from 3 to 5 years. And even after those 3 years, sometimes you'll still have a balloon payment at the end after those 3 years. Another reefer company I would say would be a close second, probably would be Prime. They have a very big reefer department. Of course, you see them everywhere. They're one of the largest companies in the United States. Prime does it all. They do drive van, they do flatbed, they do reefer, they do tanker. It ain't too much that Prime don't do. A third one would either be, I would probably say Covenant Transport. Unless you guys can think of some, I would say Covenant Transport out of Chattanooga, Tennessee. That's where I started my trucking career at. My first job was with Covenant Transport. I was doing dry van there actually, and then I switched over into doing a Dollar Tree. No, yeah, Dollar Tree and a Family Dollar account. So those would be. Oh yeah, I've heard of Variant. They're like they're kind of like a branch of U.S. Express or something, I believe. Because when I worked at Total Transportation, I remember hearing about them, but I think they're like a branch of U.S. Express or something, I think. Um, so yeah, for flatbed, let's see. Yeah, Maverick is good. Maverick is a good starter company. That's where my cousin did flatbed at for a couple years. I was going to go into TMC at first. That was my first choice to do flatbed, honestly. But the reason I didn't go to TMC is because even at that time, I had had 5 to 6 years of driving experience. And granted, I didn't have flatbed experience, but TMC was trying to send me on the road with a trainer for 6 weeks while only paying me $650 a week. That wasn't going to cut it. So TMC was not going to see me. I just felt like even though I was new to flatbed, I'm not a new driver, and I didn't need to be on the road with a trainer for 6 weeks for that amount of pay anyway. If I was making normal pay, then it could have been different. But to put me at student pay for that long, no, I got bills, so $650 a week wasn't gonna cut it. Plus, I was gonna be a company driver, so that means taxes was coming out of that. So I was really walking away with like maybe 500 a week or 550. Anywho, yeah, Melton is a good company as well. Of course, you see them everywhere. Then I would say even P&S is a good flatbed company. Their biggest upside and downside is that they're big. P&S is almost too big. They swallow up a lot of other smaller companies. Like Shelton. There's Blair. There's DMT. Red Mountain. SEL. All of those are under P&S's umbrella, and there's a ton more that I'm forgetting. But that's probably their biggest downside is that they're too big. So if you like a company that I guess treats you as a family and as a driver and not just as like a number, then P&S probably ain't it because they're so large they will forget you unless you've been working there for years and have a reputation. Uh, let's see. So JB Hunt Drive Van. So yeah, I did JB Hunt Drive Van. I worked there for a couple months. I had an SFI truck when I worked at JB Hunt. JB Hunt was a good company. I had a good CC or capacity coordinator, whatever they called him at JB Hunt. I had a good CC. Um, Their Frito-Lay loads are pretty good. That's probably the best paying loads that they have is their Frito-Lay loads, but I think everybody knows that now. So they, from what I've been hearing, they've been dropping the rate on those loads from people who I heard were still there. But yeah, their Frito-Lay loads are actually pretty good. They have some Wayfair accounts. Like I said, I did leasing there, so I don't know much about the company side of JB Hunt. But when I was there, I had a leased SFI truck, and I enjoyed my time there. I didn't leave JB Hunt because I was dissatisfied with like my coordinator, and of course JB Hunt has a load board. You can pick your own loads. You could book your loads, and that's it. You don't have to bid for it. You don't have to do like Mercer where it's first in, first out. Um, with JB Hunt, you saw the load there, you booked it, it's yours, and just go. The only thing that would happen a lot at JB Hunt is that loads would cancel a lot. A lot of times load would cancel and nobody would reimburse you for the fuel you spent to Deadhead to go get that load. Granted, as an owner operator, you kind of take that on you, so I get that too. But you can't keep taking that loss every week, and sometimes you could have a load cancel on you 2 or 3 times in a week. And another downside to JB Hunt is that you will do a lot of trailer hunting. You will do a lot of trailer hunting. Sometimes you'll be driving 100, 150 miles looking for an empty trailer, only to probably get there and find out that trailer is in no shape to be moved. So they're too big in that sense that they're too big to never have enough empty trailers that are ready to go. So that was always something that bothered me when I was there. But no, JB Hunt as a company, they were a good company. I didn't have any animosity with them. I just wanted to go do flatbed, and the curiosity bug bit me enough times where I just stepped away from JB Hunt to pursue flatbed. So that's kind of my take on JB Hunt. I mean, I could probably go more into that, sure, but that's my loose take on JB Hunt. But hmm, man, I don't fool with the with the Serbians, man. I did my time in a penitentiary known as Super Ego before, and you know, I wouldn't recommend that to anyone. um, Super Ego was a learning experience. If I can say one good thing about Super Ego is that they were a learning experience. That's it. You learn that you're gonna learn what hard work is. Let's not get that twisted. With the amount of deductions that Super Ego takes out of your pay, you have to keep that truck moving. And if you know, like I know, and I'm sure y'all know how a lot of Serbian, Chicago-based companies get down and how they conduct business. If you know, like I know, then you know if that truck ain't moving, you are already at a loss. For every hour you sitting, you're losing money, and you know that they have the means to make sure that your truck never has to sit. I'm gonna put it that way. They know how to make sure to keep you moving if you want to be kept moving at a cost. Because if you're not moving, I guarantee you probably be on the red every week. The, the only other good thing about Super Ego is that their truck payments are low. When I was there, I was leasing, well, I was trying to lease. It was a Blue International. Um, the note on that truck was $300 a week. Can y'all believe that? $300 a week. And it was only, what, a 2-year lease. $300 a week. That's $1,200 a month. That ain't bad at all. It was a 2019 International. It had a Cummins engine in it. You would think, dang, man, that sounds like a good truck. The turbo was out in that truck. The transmission eventually went out because the truck started slipping gears. Um, what else? Um, about what, a day or two after I pulled that truck off the lot, it blew a tire. No, the same day. The same day when I was test driving that truck, the truck blew a tire. the the truck blew a tire, and I had to, cause like when you go to Super Ego, they'll give you a list of trucks that are available out there at their terminal, and you could test drive one or so if you want to. So he gave me the keys to the truck, and I went to go test drive the truck, and they have like a little route they want you to take. You can kind of block around the terminal, maybe go up another street or two, and just kind of turn around and come back. As I was on the way back, the truck blew a tire. So I bring it back to them at the terminal. I rode it on the rim with my emergency lights on back to the terminal, only for them to try to charge me for the tire on that truck. Mind you, at this point, I'm test driving the truck. At that point, I never even signed a lease for that truck. I had no lease contract signed for that truck. I was still in orientation. So this was the first day of orientation. And you guys tried to charge me for a tire for that truck that I test drove, that I did not sign a contract for, because you tried to say that I blew it when that tire was dry rotting. And then when they did replace the drive tire, they put on a recap instead of putting on a new tire. And not even just a recap, they put on a used recap. Then a week later, the trailer blew a tire. And they tried to charge me for that too. So they tried to charge me for the truck tire, which I got them to not charge me for, because I mean I hadn't signed a contract. It wasn't even my truck at that point. Then they tried to charge me for the trailer tire, which I got them to not charge me for that too. Um, other stuff I understand as an owner operator is your expense. I get it. So some stuff I don't mind paying for if I have to. Is just a cost of doing business. But some stuff I'm not gonna let you get away with either. Then um, they tried to charge me for the turbo. Then they had me take the truck to an international dealership, and they said that, oh, we'll pay for the diagnostic. Just take it there, let them hook up the computer to tell us what's wrong with the truck. I took the truck to the dealership, to the international dealership in Pensacola, Florida. I took it to the dealership there. The diagnostic, by the time they got done and kind of looking at everything, it was almost like $500-600. Then they tried to make me pay for it and say that, oh, the guy that pays for the stuff isn't at work right now, so we'll just deduct it out of your check and then we'll reimburse you later. Oh, hell no. I told them, if y'all don't pay for this now, I'm leaving this truck right here. They tried to make me pay for their diagnostic that they said they were going to do because this was a known issue with the truck that they wanted to get fixed. And they asked me to take it by the terminal so that they can get it diagnosed and fixed, because it was that way before I got the truck. And they convinced me to just go ahead and keep the truck by paying for the tire and saying that once you take the turbo to be diagnosed, we'll pay for the repair. They tried to make me pay for the diagnostic and the repair. So this all happened in the span of about 3 to 4 weeks. So yeah, Super Ego is a very unique company. Most Serbian, Russian, Bulgarian, whatever owned companies, they are you get what you pay for, right? So they'll lure you in with 88% of the load. Oh gosh, you get 88%, 88%, 88%. But one, you have to ask yourself, 88% of what? And then you have to ask yourself, number two, okay, I get 88%, but what am I paying for? What is it that you guys aren't covering that you're making me pay for? So you have to ask yourself that when a lot of these companies lure you in with this really high percentage, like 88%. Now, it's one thing if a company, I'm not saying every company that has 88% of the load, 90% of the load, 95% of the load. I'm not saying that they're all scams because they're not. They're definitely not. But definitely read the fine print. Know what you guys are getting into when you choose companies to lease with, company to lease on to. Companies you just trying to go and make some money with. Understand that those Chicago-based companies are going to run you. Now, there's a few out there that are some good companies. There's some great companies, but they are few and far between. They like picking the weeds out of a garden. They're in there. You just gotta go. I mean, picking the flowers out of a weed garden. You say it like that. It's a bunch of weeds out there, but in between them weeds, there's a few flowers, and you got to know how to find them. But yeah, Super Ego was they were a very unique company. Um, JP Transco. I've heard of them. I've heard of GP. I said JP. GP Transco. I've heard of them. I've seen the guy that recently passed away, the smart trucker guy. He used to promote them all the time. I didn't know if he ever had worked for them or anything, but he used to promote GP Transco all the time. Um, and I've heard good things about them. I didn't know where they were based out of, so I never knew that they were. No, if they're Chicago based, I had never heard of them. I mean, I had never known they were Chicago based, but yeah, I've heard of GP Transco. I heard that they have really good pay. I heard that their lease program is pretty good. Um, yeah, yeah, Super Ego and Cloud Trucking are almost kind of hand in hand, and I don't think Cloud's that bad, but from everything I've heard with Cloud Trucking, their MC number is pretty bad. Like a lot of people don't want to do business with them, and I have no idea why. I think F2F has probably a better reputation than Cloud Trucks does. Let's see. ATS. I think ATS is definitely where you want to go if you're trying to move up in your flatbed career. Now, I think ABS. Geez, I'm thinking about the lighters. ATS, I believe they do drive-in as well as flatbed, but ATS is definitely. I heard like they have like different levels that you graduate to in your flatbed career. So I think that they're definitely where you want to go if you're trying to move up the ladder and get into like heavy hauling, and because you'll see them hauling like the giant windmill blades, and they do a lot of like specialized stuff, some real big boy trucker stuff, right? I don't know much about their pay, but I do know they have a good program there. I'm not sure if they lease though. I haven't heard much about their lease program, so I don't know if they lease or not. They probably do. I maybe just don't know nothing about it. So, Nash, what was your experience with ATS? Why did you decide to leave them? What was it, something bad or whatever? But yeah, yeah, I've heard of JP Transco. But yeah, so as far as picking companies, so yeah, back to that. And like I said, for anybody that's just joining, appreciate you joining. Leave a like. Also, like I said, you guys, a way to support the channel and support my lives is to leave gifts or what they call like thanks or whatever like that. There should be an icon somewhere on the screen or on my channel itself where you can leave gifts, and it helps me out. It helps support the channel. So new things are to come. Anyways, guys, yeah, I said to myself that I wanted to get into heavy hauling at one point as well, but I'm kind of back and forth because as much as I love flatbed, right now rates aren't what they used to be, and I know that winter winter time is usually a slow period for flatbed. Flatbed is kind of a spring to summer thing or a spring to fall thing, but winter is kind of slow for flatbed. So the uh the math ain't math right now. You know what I'm saying? Like you could get some decent loads. Like this load I'm on is paying 2,300, sure, but this load is also like 1,200 miles. You know what I'm saying? So this load, while it pays okay enough. That's a little bit below $2 a mile if you did your math on that, and it's like $1.90 or something like that. $1.90, $1.86, I believe it was. And that's not good, but I mean, I got to pay my bills, so I got to keep moving. I'm not going to be picking, anything below that, or nobody wants to haul super cheap freight. I'm not in business to give away money. I'm in business to make it, but you got to make some kind of money too. And it sucks to be in that position because I'm not in a position where I could just not take freight. I'm not in that position or that um, income level where I could say, oh, no cheap freight at all, period. If it ain't $2 a mile, I'm not running it. Um, I'm not in a position to do that. So I have to take what I can get, but I don't want to be lowballed either. I want the amount of effort I put into that load to match the pay coming out of it. But yeah, so that's my little speech on that. But yeah. Oh Lord, somebody don't y'all come on here hyping up no daggone super ego. Please don't do that. There's enough people out there in YouTube land that do that already. And I don't know if they get paid to do that or not. But like I said, I ain't on here to bash super ego either. But if you go to super ego, know what you're getting yourself into. Read the reviews, read the articles, watch YouTube, do a search for YouTube on YouTube for super ego, check Facebook, check their Google reviews. Please, 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 please know what you are getting yourself into before you slide over there to super ego. Because I promise you, you don't want no smoke with them. You just don't. You just don't. Like I said, they got, they're, I guess for some people, their good side is that if you never want to stop, you never have to stop. If you know, you know. I'll leave it at that because I don't want to make any allegations against them. But allegedly, if you want to keep moving, they know how to keep you moving. Yeah, Flatbed J, man, they called me so much I actually had to start blocking them. And no matter what number they call me from, I blocked them. Though, and then when I had to block them from emailing me as well. They definitely a super mess. I had to block them. Dang, Nash, so did they put you at fault for that accident for the trailer brakes locking up? Did they say that you were at fault for that? So I work for Crete. So what you do at Crete? Crete do dry van, right? I think Crete and what else? What's the other company that's I guess the same as them? Is it CFI or NFI or something? I've seen Crete around a lot. I hear they have a decent lease purchase program as well. Schaefer. That's it. That's it. Schaefer. Right. I know. Like I remember. I know the trucks are like blue and white, or they have like the little penguin or something on the side of the truck or something. But yeah, okay. So it's Schaefer. I don't know why I would think NFI or whatever. But yeah, Schaefer is the Reefer division. Got it. Got it. Got it. So yeah. I didn't know. I don't know why I didn't know that. That probably explains the penguin. but yeah. So what's the pay like over at Schaefer? Like for people like, cause there may be people on here that are trying to do reefer. Like I recommended Hirschbach because I used to work there. Their pay was pretty competitive at the time, but that was 2022 when I worked there, and I was a trainer and I was leasing, so I had some upsides to my pay. But okay, so for y'all that was trying to do ever work at Schaefer or Creed or hell, probably both, according to what he's saying. That they were kind of interchangeable anyway. They do what 60%? I mean, ooh, 60%. Jesus, 60 cents per mile for dry van. But it may be more, maybe less now. But at the time the person's posting it, that's what they paid. But Yeah, I think keep on trucking. I think that's what I'm I have been thinking about going back into reefer, and I thought about at one point taking my truck and going back to Hirschbach. The reason I keep mentioning Hirschbach is because for those of you who don't know, like I said, Hirschbach is a reefer company. They're based out of Iowa, out of Dubuque, Iowa, or well, East Dubuque, Iowa. And some of their upsides is you pay $1 for fuel. I'm sure y'all seen the advertisements. You pay 99 cents for fuel. That's true. I don't know how they make that true, but it's true. You pay 99 cents for fuel. Also, with Hirschbach, you don't pay for DEF at all. So they cover your DEF and they cover your reefer fuel. So you don't only thing you pay for is the fuel for the truck. You don't pay for the DEF or the reefer fuel. So as an owner operator, that's a big plus sign when it comes to cost saving. Also, one of their upsides to Hirschbach is oh god, I lost my train of thought. Anyways, guys, I'll get back to it. But yeah, so that's really one of their main upsides is the fact that the low cost of fuel. Oh, got back to it already. So another upside to Hirschbach is their maintenance program. And we all know as an owner operator, like I said with the fuel thing, keeping costs down. As an owner operator, you also want to make sure you keeping the cost of repairs down as well as fuel deductions and everything else. So at Hirschbach, they have like what they call like you don't necessarily have an escrow account there or a maintenance account. They have what they call just a maintenance pool, right? So every week they take out a certain cents per mile out of your settlement, and that money just goes into a maintenance pool. But so that might seem unfair to you when you're having $200 or $300 taken out of your settlement that week, and it's going into a pool, and you're like, dang, I didn't even have any repairs this week. But when something does go wrong with your truck, and we all have trucks, so something will go wrong, whether it's blowing a tire, you got a windshield cracked, your turbo go out, your transmission clutch breaks like mine did last year. The good thing about that is your truck is fixed totally at no upfront cost to you. What I mean by that, to get in more detail with that, is that let's just say let's just say you blew your head gasket on your engine, right? And we all know that's an expensive repair. I've had that repair before, um, and that cost me $7,800. So that is not a cheap repair, and it had me down for a week. So I was losing money and revenue. This was about 3 or 4 years ago, and let's see, where was I at? I was at Landstar at the time. No, I had my own authority at that time in 2001. I mean 2021 when this happened, and with Hirschbach, had that happened, they would have covered that entirely for free for me. Not only that, they would have put you up in a hotel for free. So, or even if they didn't put you in a hotel for free, it would have been cheaper for me to just pay for my own hotel than to pay for my own hotel and the repairs when I had to do that when I had my own authority. So it was stuff like that that had me shut my own authority down when I had it. But so Hirschbach is a good company. So if I ever left Flatbed, and if I ever left Flatbed to do Reefer again, it would be with Hirschbach. That's pretty much kind of hands down. Yeah, Nash, I wouldn't blame you for not wanting to go back. Yeah, they put an accident on your record. They found you at fault, but then they calling you telling you to come back. That's crazy. But it shows that companies understand that sometimes they have a good driver, and they miss out on a good driver because of something petty. And that something like that could have probably ruined your career, but thank God it didn't, and that you kept on trucking. But yeah, so yeah, Um, yeah, keep on trucking on what you said though before. I definitely, I'm thinking about going back into Reefer. Definitely as an owner operator, of course, keeping my same truck, and I definitely don't want to ever have to step back into an SFI truck. The truck I had wasn't bad; it never really had any issues, and when it did have a repair that was needed, I usually had money in my maintenance account to cover it. So I was never just like stranded or down bad, because I kept my maintenance account well stocked. Mostly because you didn't have a choice; they took it out anyway, whether you wanted them to take it out or not. So you kept your maintenance account well stocked up with funds. And even if you didn't have funds, they'll work out a way to do it, and they'll probably just make you pay more on the back end. But SFI isn't bad. Their truck payments are a little high. Let's just keep it real. Their deductions are high for those trucks. They are new trucks. So if you can make it work and you have the means to run an SFI truck, you can do good knowing that it'll be a long time before you need a repair. And when you do need a repair, it's either something minor or whether it's something major, you're going to have the funds to cover it because by that time your maintenance account is well stocked $2,000-3,000 in. So taking a $500 hit to make a repair, it won't shake your bottom line at all. So yeah, SFI trucks have their good sides, but the downside is that their truck payments are relatively high and their leases are relatively long. But in exchange, you almost get a brand new or slightly used truck that can last you a while. And even if your goal, your MO isn't to pay off the lease of that SFI truck, I think they're good trucks to get into to build up your funds to stack your paper, if you will. And then once you build up a certain amount of funds, because that's what I did. I used my SFI truck to build up a nest egg for myself, and once I did, I turned it back in, and you know, usually they charge you all these cancellation fees and everything, but with mine, I ended up they ended up owing me money. They ended up owing me $471 because of the fact that I had a very stocked maintenance account. By the time they took all of their fees and stuff out, they ended up sending me a check for $471. So that worked out. And if I ever need an SFI truck in the future, which I hope I would never have to, but if I did need an SFI truck in the future, I know that I could go back, and everything gonna be good. I'm just hoping I don't ever have to need one because those notes are expensive, and missing a week of work can really hurt you. Missing a week of work with an SFI truck can hurt real bad. And it'll put you in a hole, and it's a hole you will have to claw your way out of. It's doable, but you got to be disciplined to maintain an SFI truck. Um, yeah, so keep on trucking. I was at Schneider as well. I was at Schneider for about 7 months before I went to JB Hunt, and I left Schneider just because their their freight dried up so bad. We all know about it. We saw it on YouTube, but I left before it got really bad. Like if y'all watch my bro over at Life of KO, or if y'all watch Big Country, um, shout outs to those guys, Country and KO. But if you watched any of their channels, and I've met both of them a couple times in person, and we talk on the phone. Um, Freight dried up at Schneider. It got real bad. It got to a point where you could be sitting somewhere which was like a typically decent freight area, and you would search almost like a 500-mile radius, and you wouldn't find a load. It was so bad you would have to just deadhead somewhere else. You would have to deadhead 300-400 miles to get a load at one point. It had got bad. I don't know if the market was just so saturated at that time, So I don't know if it was a market thing or a Schneider thing, but at one point Schneider freight had just got dried up so bad. It got real bad to the point where there was almost one point where 2 or 3 weeks back to back I didn't get paid, like because I was in the negative because there was no freight. I think there was one week or so where I did like one load that entire week because there was just nothing. Or if you took something, you were almost taking it at a loss. You were almost taking that load at $1.30 a mile, and who wants to do that out here? Nobody wants to do that. But nobody wants to sit there knowing they got a bill over the head and they got truck bills and they got personal bills they can't pay either. So you either sit there and be prideful, or you take that very low paying load because you know you got to put something in your account because you got personal bills and you got truck bills. You got mouths to feed. Like me, I have a wife and kids. You got people that depend on you. So it sucks, but you got to take it. But yeah, Long Mountain is somewhere I've considered if I ever had to get another truck, or if this truck didn't work out and I had to work my way back up to another truck. Long Mountain is probably where I would consider getting my next truck from. I heard they do have pretty good trucks. I heard that their lease terms are pretty reasonable. With this truck here, I've had this truck since May of last year. My truck note for this truck is only $14.19 a month, which is great. That's awesome. I have a 2020 International, and my truck note is only $14.19 a month. That is, I mean, you can equate that to about what? Let's say 350 a week, give or take a few cents. Let's say 360 a week. So you can equate that to about 360 a week, which that is awesome. I mean, it's freaking awesome. I only have 2 years left on this truck, so I should be done paying for this truck in 2027, I believe. Well, I have about 2 years and 6 months, so should be done paying for this truck in June of 2027. So, you know, a little ways to go, but not too bad so far. Um, True. Like so, what I would well, I won't say it's a high payment, right? So, what I consider high payments, if you're leasing, if you're paying $900 a week for the truck, that can be considered a high payment if you then also have to worry about the insurance on that truck. Um, what else? Your maintenance account. So you're going to need to take money out for maintenance account. You're going to need to take money out for taxes, or whatever like that. So $900 a week, I would consider a bit much if you don't have. Now, if you don't have a lot of expenses at home, right? $900 can be doable for somebody who is single and ready to mingle or whatever. If a young man, young lady, I'm not gonna say young, but if you're a guy or girl that, you kind of live most of your life on the road, you don't have young kids that like come back and tend to. You're a single man, so you can just kind of come and go as you please, or single woman. Um, then that's affordable. But at $900 a week, and you miss one week, and you don't have a well-funded maintenance account or personal account, a $900 a week truck note can hurt you when you miss days or when you're down because of a repair. That can hurt because the payments won't stop. So I would consider $900 a bit high. Like I said, I know you say it's relative, and if you're making good money, $900 won't hurt you, and that's true as well. If you're making bank every week, let's just say minus all your other deductions, but before you take out your truck note, let's just say your net for that week was $3,000. So let's just say you take a $900 truck note out of that, you're still left with $2,100. which isn't which isn't a bad haul for a week. It's not That's not bad to take home after all deductions. So a $900 payment for someone like that in that position, that's easily doable. And definitely, I'm not rich by any means, so I don't want to tell anybody how to do it because I did an SFI truck and I had a payment of 956 a week. So I'm definitely, I'm definitely not speaking from a place like, ooh, I'm super high and mighty because I'm not. I'm so far from that because I've done it before. Like I said, my SFI truck, the payment was 956 a week for the truck. Then I paid 226 a week for the maintenance account. So yeah, that is good. I agree. If even making 2K a week, like you said, that's 108K a year. That is damn good pay. I absolutely agree with that. I 100% agree with that. That 2K a week, after all expenses, fuel, insurance, maintenance account, deductions, whatever you have to, give to Uncle Tom or whatever. I think that's still a good haul to bring home. Absolutely. Absolutely is. And for some people, I understand to some people 2K ain't nothing. Oh, that's all you made a week? Oh man, you might as well be a company driver. I made a 2K as a company driver. I get all that. But me as an owner operator, driving with Mercer, if I can make 2K a week, I'm happy with that. Would I want more? I absolutely would want more. Who wouldn't? We all want more. But if the least I could do, the bare minimum I could do was bring home 2K, I'd be one happy trucker. But we all know some weeks you ain't gonna bring home 2K either. And that's not to say anything against someone's work ethic. It's just the way, the market is. Sometimes it can be crazy. Sometimes a load can cancel. Sometimes a repair puts you down for a couple of days and it makes you miss out on a good paying load. Some truckers, they sit around and wait for the unicorn load or what they call the Nova Scotia load. You want the load going from over here to way over yonder. That's gonna pay you $5,000, $6,000. And while those loads exist, they could be few and far between, especially if you're someone that doesn't want to drive from California to Georgia or from Washington to Orlando. If you're not that type of driver, then those loads are gonna always be out of your price range. Now, Mercer, being with Mercer here, they do have some loads going to Alaska that are paying like $12,000 right now. I kid you not. I saw it on the contractor web today. They have some loads going to Alaska that are paying over $12,000. I think the rate per mile on that load averaged out to be about 339 per mile, and that's ridiculous in a great way if you want to deal with Alaska. But it's an all-week load. It's like a 5-day load. But even still, 5 days to rate that out, you still could make maybe even after deductions, even over sitting a week, about $5,000 to $6,000. That's a great haul to me if you want to deal with Alaska. So you say Alaska under 20K is crazy? Oh, Jesus. But never mind then, guys. Let me retract my statement. I have been formally corrected. Don't y'all go to Alaska for under 20K. I know Alaska is dangerous as hell. It take a real man's man to drive to Alaska. If y'all ever seen the show, what's the show? Ice Road Truckers. If you ain't built like that, don't go there. I even hate to watch them go there, and they, specialize in that. I hate to see them out there doing what they do every day, and my hat is off to them. So I know I could never do it. I'm just not built that way. I ain't scared of hard work, but I mean, who wants to do that every day? You got to be built for that, or you grew up in that environment, so it's natural to you to be in that type of environment. I wouldn't, but Mercer isn't like Mercer is okay. Like, of course, any company could be better. Any company could do with some give and take on certain things. Right now, freight is kind of sucky. Right now, I will admit that there are some good gems out there. You can find some good um, $2.25 a mile loads. There's even some dedicated accounts that they have kind of sprinkled in here and there if you know where to go. Or you can do some boats or stuff like that. But of course, freight could be better. Rates could be better. I won't sit here and lie about that, but I'm consistently moving. So I guess that's all I could ask for too. As an owner operator and a driver, is that I'm consistently moving. I have a great coordinator. Her name is Holly. She keeps me moving. I'm never sitting unless I choose to sit. I'm never waiting on freight unless I chose to take the rest of that day off. Uh, yeah, I just did a load of AC units. What was that? Just my previous load, the load I just took over to Houston. I just took some AC units over there. I had two of the medium-sized AC units that you have to chain down, the ones you get out of Columbia, South Carolina. Yeah, I just you get it from a train company. Yeah, I just took a load of AC units over to Houston, Texas, and I'm headed to Laredo now. So yeah, I just did that. Um, I'm actually headed to go pick up an oversized load. So I do oversized. I'm headed to pick up an oversized load out of Laredo as we speak. So I do that. I have my hazmat as well as I have my twit card. So yeah, I kind of got some stuff. This will actually be my first oversized load with Mercer though. I've done oversized loads with Boyd Brothers, but this will be my first oversized Mercer load. Yeah, man, I try not to go to Laredo, right? Because I ain't gonna say hate. I have a strong dislike for Laredo. Bad experiences there, whatever, whatever. I try not to go to Laredo, but um, freight is kind of half dead, half alive in in Texas, and everything else that would have been available in Texas, like Dallas or Fort Worth or Midlothian, those were getting scooped up so fast that by the time I was able to find something, it was Laredo or sit, and I had already just sat the rest of the day on Monday. I wasn't going to sit today too to hope something come out tomorrow. Um, but I got a decent enough load, but low paid 23, 2400, so it's decent enough. It's like 23 and a half. So it obviously it ain't the best rate, but it got me out of here, and it's getting me to Illinois. And you can easily get some freight out of Illinois. That's no problem. If you can't get freight out of Illinois, you didn't try to, or you're being very selective about where you wanted to go. So yeah. Oh man, I know that had to be hell being in Laredo around Christmas time. But I thought about maybe one day getting into like step deck or something. That's if I continue. That's if I decide to continue to pursue, the higher levels of my flatbed career. Because I have been, like I said, I've been back and forth about whether I want to do, um, continue to do flatbed or maybe step back in the reefer. So I have been back and forth on it. I'll be honest. I don't think I'll ever do dry van again. But if I did something, it would be reefer or maybe possibly dip my toes in the tanker. So, so you just drop your step deck. I've thought about it, but like I said, I don't know if I want to continue flatbedding. Like I did it because I was curious about it, and I stuck to it because That's just a veteran in me. So go Army. Push. Shouts out to the Army guys. And shouts out to all veterans, by the way. But that's just the not quit in me that I decided to, do flatbed, and I stuck with it for an entire year. And I'm proud of myself because I had always told myself I would never do flatbed. I always said, man, that's way too much work. But when the money matches the work and then exceeds it at times, you realize the work is worth it. And I've never been scared of any hard work. Yeah, definitely strong. Those are the days I hate flatbed, when it's raining and you got to be out there tarping a load, or you rolling up your tarps on the ground and it's rain, it's muddy out there. Like that one time I was on an Amish farm and I delivered a load of lumber to this Amish farm because they were building a shed, and my truck was like sliding on their yard. I had to stay with my foot on the brakes because even though I was in park, I had to kind of try to hold my foot on the brake because my truck started sliding into their yard. But they managed to get me stable and get me stopped. But even while I was trying to roll up the tarp, it was just pure ice on the ground, so I had to wear knee pads because my knees were starting to get numb at first. I had to go grab some knee pads out of my truck, and it was just ice and gravel, and I had to roll those tarps up, and it was freezing cold. It was like, I think it was -4 or -11 degrees out there, and I'm sitting here on the ground rolling up a tarp. And this was like what, my second flatbed load, so I was kind of pissed. I was kind of bad because I'm like, God dang, this is what y'all do on a regular? Like, oh my God, what did I get myself into? But I knew if I made it past that point, I knew that I could succeed in flatbed, and I did, and I have, and I'm going to. But I will admit that I've been considering going back into reefer, and that if I ever did that, I would not, like, if I ever left flatbed, I would probably not go back to flatbed. I would probably just stay in reefer. And it's not because of the work or anything. It's just because, I did flatbed to scratch an itch, and that itch has been scratched. And I'm satisfied with myself for sticking to it for an entire year. But yeah, y'all. So, what were some of the companies, like y'all? For those of you who did just join in late after we already had the discussion, what would be your top three companies for dry van? What companies would you consider top three? And they don't have to be in any order of that top three. Just three top companies you would recommend, or you would work at, or you have worked at, for van, reefer, and flatbed. Yeah, um, that's one of the big drawbacks of reefer. Is like I said, when I worked at Hirschbach, especially because you do a lot of like grocery loads, like Associated, was it wholesale groceries, or AWG, Food Lion, Americode, Smithfield. When you do a lot of those loads, sometimes you'll be waiting a lot. Sometimes you will do a lot of dropping hooks, and that's good to keep you moving. But sometimes you will do a lot of sitting. And then, of course, you got to deal with lumber fees, and you got to deal with capstone, which you ain't got to ever deal with capstone doing flatbed. You ain't got to ever deal with lumber fees doing flatbed. But you bet your butt with reefer, oh, you finna deal with some lumber fees. And that can be annoying all in its own right. If you know about lumber fees, you know how annoying that can be. So, yo, with that being said, I've thought about doing it. We'll see. I'm still on the fence about it. I'm still kind of enjoying my flatbed journey. And I don't want to leave Mercer. Because obviously, if I started doing reefer and Mercer does not have reefer, that means I would have to leave Mercer. And I'm not sure I'm ready to leave Mercer just yet. And I don't think they have any plans of ever having a reefer division. But if they did, I'd jump on it immediately. So I will admit that. If they ever developed, I wouldn't do that. Like I said, I don't know about the dry van, but if Mercer had a reefer division, I would jump on it immediately if they ever decided to come up with one. I'd raise my hand for it. But I figure I probably held up y'all attention long enough, right? So I just wanted to come and pick y'all brain about some companies. I wanted to see where you guys' head were as far as companies you guys would recommend. Let's see, J.R. Sugar. I've heard of J.R. Sugar. I actually tried to work there, but they actually denied me because they said they weren't hiring out of Florida at the time. They said they had a hiring freeze on Florida, well, Pensacola, Florida, where I live at. Um, so I actually tried to go to J.R. Sugar, but they would not hire me. Well, J and R Sugar, whatever. I tried to go there, but they wouldn't hire me because of where I lived at. It was the same with Prime. At one point, I even tried, to go to Prime, but they wouldn't hire me because of where I worked at. I mean, where I lived at, Jesus, because of where I lived at. So, but I have heard about them, and I heard that they were a pretty decent company, which made me start doing research about them. But they wouldn't take me on anyway. But yeah. Oh yeah, man. What's up, Angel, man? So you still over at JB Hunt, huh? And that's crazy because you left Mercer and I ended up at Mercer, man. So that's crazy how I was at JB Hunt and you were at Mercer, and then you left and went to Mercer I mean JB Hunt, and then I left and went to Mercer. so so we kind of swapped out, man. It's been a while. Hope you've been good. Hope you've been hope the trucking has been good and the math been mathing. But yeah, y'all. I'm about 28 miles away from my pickup. Like I said, I'm down here headed to Laredo. Y'all know how it is with Laredo. Border patrol everywhere. Highway patrol everywhere. Whatever, whatever. Yeah, man. Just hit me up later, Angel. If I don't end up answering the phone or Facebook, just send me a message and I'll get back to you. I'm probably be in the middle of strapping or tarping a load or something. Um, Say from Florida, East Coast. So yeah, that's what I mean. I'm like in the Northwest, so I'm in the Panhandle, like I said, in Pensacola. So I'm like an hour from Mobile, Alabama. And J.R. Sugar would not hire me there. Delmore Prime, neither one would hire me. Or Oakley. I tried to even do Oakley at one point to do like a hopper bottom with Bruce Oakley out of Little Rock, Arkansas. They wouldn't hire me either. Even though I do have my own truck and they're an owner operator company, but they wouldn't hire me because they had a hiring freeze out of Florida. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think I was the same way with JB Hunt. Had I not had an SFI truck and maybe, like, if I had the truck that I have now at JB Hunt, with this being a truck that I got from Arrow Truck Sales, I would have stayed at JB Hunt. I would have. But like I said, the flatbed bug had bit me, and I just wanted to give flatbed a try. And I thank God that I did, and I stuck with it for as long as I have. But it was rough sometimes to keep up with that SFI payment. I will admit that it wasn't impossible. It wasn't not doable, but you had to be disciplined to keep up with that payment, and you had to know that if you didn't get ahead while the getting was good, when things got bad, they were going to get really bad. So that's all. That's kind of the good and bad with that. But like I said, guys, thank you guys for tuning in. I do appreciate it. I really do. Y'all, it means a lot to me. Because normally I'm gonna sit here and talk to myself anyway, but it's nice to have a chat with you guys. Because people look at you crazy when you talk to yourself. But I'm getting close to my delivery, so I'm gonna go ahead and just get on over there, pick up my load, and we're gonna keep this thing trucking. Um, but yeah, so let's see. Yeah, but flatbed is actually pretty good in the summer. The rates are a lot higher in the summer. So it comes with the territory of sweating your balls off, but at the same time, hey, you sweating for that paper. You ain't just out here slaving in the hot sun. You at least slaving with some good pay. I guess if that makes it sound any better, I don't know. But sorry there, y'all. Some reason my signal went out. But yeah, if you ever want to go live with me in the future, you're welcome to do so. Just let me know in advance and we can try to work something out. Um, don't forget to follow my Facebook page, Love Life Trucking. I'm going to be doing a giveaway. Actually going to be announcing the rules for that giveaway today in a reel. So if you're on there and you see that reel, you'll see the rules for that giveaway. That's why I do my giveaways on that page. I won't do them here on YouTube. They'll be on that page. Um, what else? Also, like I said, guys, a way to support the channel is to donate gifts, or what they call like gifts or super thanks or whatever. So if you want to do that, feel free to do so. It don't cost very much, maybe $1 to do so. So if you want to do that, it's a great way to support the channel. Either way, I appreciate likes, comments. You taking 5 seconds out of your day to tap on my screen and say, "Ugh, I don't want to talk to him," and tap off. Either way, I appreciate whatever it is you guys did, because you didn't have to take time out of your day to listen to me ramble on, but I appreciate you doing so. I appreciate y'all for joining me on my drive and supporting my journey. I support your journey as well. You can leave your links to your channel, you guys' channels, if you guys have your own trucking channels or whatever channels you have on YouTube. You can leave your links in the comments, and I will go subscribe to your channels to show my support for you as well. Stay safe. This has been your favorite YouTubian, Love with Love Life Trucking. I will see y'all as normal on the next episode of Dragon Ball Z. Peace.